Hey, Ashley, is Bill on, or we just going to do this from here?
Bill's not going to be here, so we're just going to rock and roll like this.
Okay. Guess I'll just go ahead and take questions. Hope everybody had a nice Easter.
Scooter, looks like you were first in line.
Okay, before you get into everything else, if you could just talk about Tuesday night's game and what you're looking for, bounce back, whatever, with McNeese.
Well, obviously the biggest thing is to get back on the horse and hopefully get a win. Just want to have something positive happen for the guys, and playing another really good in-state team that went to Southeastern this weekend and had a couple of good wins. We know how good Southeastern is, and they won the first 2 games of the series, which you got to have a pretty good team to do that. So we know we're going to have our hands full. They got a really veteran team. Seems like their shortstop has been there forever. I think Justin Hill does a really, really good job as their coach, and they always seem to play us really tough. So we need to have a good day of practice today and focus on playing McNeese. Obviously, a lot of attention is on our record in our conference, and can't do anything about that tomorrow night. So all we can do is play McNeese State and hopefully gain some confidence back, and hopefully end up the night scoring more runs than them and get ready to go to Lexington and get back on the horse for the SEC and start to have some positive things happen there. We're going to start Garrett Edwards tomorrow night. I'm sure we'll be piecing it together with several pitchers. But he's going to start the ball game, see how that looks.
Paul, do y'all have the test results back from Jaden? And if so, what did they reveal?
I have not talked to Jaden yet, and nor have I talked to the doctor yet. So I don't know exactly what the situation is. So I really can't comment on it yet, Wilson, until I get a chance to talk directly. But the early report is not very positive. But until I talk to the doctor and to Jaden, I really can't comment specifically. So I'm gonna have to hold off until I get a chance to talk to both of them.
A follow-up on that, though, real quick. Would there still be, with there being uncertainty around him, does that affect what y'all do pitching-wise tomorrow, and like starting Garrett and that kind of thing as you head into the weekend, maybe not being able to have him?
Yeah, I would say Jaden is definitely out for the weekend. And so, the starting Garrett in the Tuesday game is not necessarily a reflection on what our plans are for this weekend. I think the idea to start Garrett is to get him back on the horse right away and see how it looks. Let him go through a starter's routine and start a ball game in case that's something that we want to look at down the road, whether it be this weekend or in the future. But we haven't decided what we're going to do with this weekend yet, except probably move AJ Labus to Saturday. Not sure what we'll do on Sunday.
Coach, so obviously a lot has been made about just kind of the early inconsistencies with the offense. Just I guess, where would you assess where the offense is? Obviously you guys went against 2 really great pitchers on Thursday and Friday, but just Saturday to come back and kind of be there right at the end, but just not have it break your way. I mean, just where the hitters' headspace is at now, I guess, heading into a very critical week for you guys.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, Glenn. those kids work so hard, and Eddie works so hard with them. But getting 4 hits a game, which is what we did this week, and it's really hard to mount much offense when you're only getting 4 hits in a ball game. Obviously, it's very understandable when you run up against 2 guys like Rocker and Leiter. Those guys have done that to a lot of people. Leiter only had given up 7 hits in 6 previous starts for the season, and we got 4 hits off of them. The encouraging thing, I guess, if you want to say it's encouraging, I think one night we had all 4 hits were by true freshmen. Yay for small victories. But obviously, to mount any kind of significant offense, you're going to have to do more than that. Saturday's game, the final game of the series, obviously we had a chance there in the last inning. We loaded the bases with 2 walks and a hit batter. The kid they brought in was throwing the ball exceptionally hard. He was up to 97 miles an hour. Gavin Dugas, had a really good at bat, fell behind in the count and battled like crazy, and ended up putting the ball in play. It resulted in a sacrifice fly. Unfortunately, we're down by 2. Bianco had some good base running and was able to advance to third base, but we weren't able to get the last hit there to tie the ball game, unfortunately. So we ended up losing by a run, which I guess if you count them, that was our 3rd 1-run loss. So, out of our 8 losses, I think we've had 3 1-run losses and 2 2-run losses. You've heard me say it a million times, your season gets defined by how you do in the 1-run and 2-run games. So, I think, in a lot of ways we've been competitive, but in other ways we're not getting it done in the close games, which is what you have to do. And, but we're through 3 really tough opponents, and now, not that it gets easier at all, but it's not going to be any more difficult than it's been in these first 3 weekends. That's for sure. Those 3 teams that we've played, 3 of the top teams in the country, and we just got to, roll up our sleeves and keep working, and take it 1 game at a time and chip away. And that's what we're going to keep doing.
Coach, at this point, when you in practice after these games, are you seeing the effect of these tough times on the kids? Like, what's the psyche of this team right now in your mind?
Man, it's hard to just, define that, because each individual player is different. But it's my job to keep their chins up and keep them enthused and thinking positive and enjoying the game. And it's hard to enjoy it when you're not having a lot of success. And it's easy to sit back and say, let's have fun out there. But, when you put in a lot of work, and our players put in a lot of work, it's a very time consuming thing, and they work very hard, and you want to reap the benefits of that hard work. And that's what we're used to having here at LSU. And when you look at the scoreboard at the end of the game, the other team has scored 1 more run than you, or you lost the ball game, it's hard to walk away from the park and say, boy, that was a lot of fun today. It's just the nature of it. That's why winning is so important. It gives credibility to what you preach to them as a coach, and it makes all the hard work feel that it was worth it. So, when the hard work is put in and the result at the end of the day is not there, it's certainly going to affect, the psyche of the player. So, today we'll meet with the guys, we'll talk to them a lot. We'll try to keep them, thinking positive, and I'll explain to them that, this is what athletics is. It's a microcosm of life, and you're going to get knocked down a lot in life, and you have 2 choices. You can lay there and be defeated, or you can get back up as hard as it is and keep fighting. And I would hope that our players will heed the advice of their coach and keep fighting. And if you do that, then eventually you'll have good things happen to you. And beginning with tomorrow night, hopefully we'll have something good happen to us, and we'll carry that into this weekend. And you chip away. You can't win 8 games in one day. You just got to do it day by day, day by day, day by day. And, just kind of reset your goals and take it one day at a time, and be proud of the accomplishments that you have, and salvage something. And, it's not easy. These are the times that try men's souls. That's for sure.
Coach, where would you, in you as a coach or as an individual, where would you rank this, or even do you have anything to compare this from previous seasons that weren't as successful or up to the LSU standard of performance?
Oh, I've been in coaching for 39 years, Matt. I've had lots of down moments in my life as a coach. So I can't compare it to, I'm not going to go back and dwell on bad years or bad experiences. I can't compare it to anything. I just deal with what we're dealing with now, and we can't do anything about yesterday. All we can do about is today. We start with practice today, and emphasize the little things at practice, and do your things properly today. And if you have the self-discipline and the focus on doing the little things correct today, then it'll translate into success tomorrow when we play McNeese. And that's how I have to approach it. There's just no other way to do it. You start dwelling on all the negative things this year or that year or whatever, it just, you fill your head with so many negative thoughts that it just overwhelms you, and that doesn't accomplish anything. Like I said, life is filled with trials and tribulations, and these kids are going through something right now that, as difficult as it is to endure, it'll help them grow as people, and they will eventually become tougher. They'll become more confident that they can handle anything that life challenges them with as they go through life. And it's not fun to go through, but ultimately they'll endure and become better people for it.
Coach, you talked a minute ago about, you said Garrett Edwards is going to be the starter tomorrow. Is there a reason you're moving away from Will Helmers in that role? Is there anything specific, or you just wanted to shake things up?
No, I just want Garrett Edwards to go through the starters routine tomorrow and see what it looks like to see him start a game. Will be the first guy out of the bullpen following Garrett. Yeah, Will's done a great job for us, and this is not a reflection on him at all. I just want to see if we decide, to use Garrett as a weekend starter to give him the experience of starting a game in the midweek. He hasn't started a game since he started against UL earlier in the year.
Hey, Coach. Speaking about moving forward and everything, somebody may roll their eyes for me asking you this, but doesn't it just take one guy to hit a 3-run homer or something like that to happen, and everything can just change on one play and go into a different direction? I know you're 1-8 right now, but to be honest, people don't talk about winning the SEC around here anyway. So, it's all about trying to be your best in May and June, right? So it's still not all in front of you, but a lot is in front of you.
Yeah, well, I don't roll my eyes, Jacques. I think I've been around long enough to know that's you never point the finger at any one player, or it's a collective effort by the entire team and the coaching staff, and all those things happen. But the reality is, you win games when players do extraordinary things, and sometimes one player stepping up in one swing of the bat changes the entire momentum of a team. I talk a lot about the 2008 season when we were down and out and everybody had counted us out, in a base hit by DJ LeMahieu with 2 outs in the 8th inning at Tulane on a Tuesday night changed the fortunes of an entire season. And, I don't know who's going to get that hit for us. Many guys have had an opportunity to do it, and the opportunity was there, and maybe it didn't happen. And I'm not blaming anybody, but we just never know when it's going to happen. But ultimately, somebody will hopefully do that for us, and it changes the whole atmosphere around the team. It loosens everybody up, and it comes at a critical time. It might be a hit, it might be a pitch, it might be a play, it might be a base running maneuver, and you don't know when it's going to happen. And I mean, you can't predict it. You can't even coach it. It just happens, and it takes special players. It takes somebody seizing the moment, and it will happen. I have to believe it, and you just keep encouraging the kids, and hopefully somebody will rise up at a critical moment, and that will happen. I keep visualizing it. If I kept thinking that Dylan Cruz was going to get a pitch to hit and hit a 3-run homer in the 9th inning the other night, but instead he drew a walk. Then I envisioned Gavin Dugas was going to hit one out. He hit a sacrifice fly, and it didn't quite happen, but you just keep thinking it's going to happen, and one of these days one of these players is going to come through with one, and it's going to feel really good when it does.
Coach, you talked about McNeese, playing who they played this past weekend, but what really stands out about their lineup when you look 1 through 9? I think they put up 9 runs over the weekend in the last game. So what stands out about their lineup that can be dangerous to deal with?
Very experienced. They got a very left-handed hitting dominant lineup, and they're very experienced. Yeah, they won't be intimidated coming into Alec Box Stadium, that's for sure. They're very confident, older team, and we're gonna have to work really hard tomorrow night. We're gonna have to pitch real well. Excuse me. We're gonna have to pitch well, and we're gonna have to score some runs too. So it's gonna be a tough ball game tomorrow night.
Paul, there was something Kendall Rogers reported earlier about the NCAA having the predetermined sites for the postseason. Are y'all going to submit a bid for one of those, or have you not decided yet?
I didn't know anything about that, Wilson. I haven't seen that tweet, so that's news to me. I haven't talked to anybody about it, so I wouldn't even know how to respond. First I heard about it is just now from you. Shows what an awesome reporter you are. You're on top of things.
No, I just read Kendall's tweet about it. That was all.
Okay.
I have another question if I could. Gavin said that the night before his grand slam against Louisiana Tech, that you had a conversation with him and that it was pretty motivating for him to hear from you then. What did you want to say to him there? And why might it have kind of helped him, sort of finally relax and then have that hit the next day?
I don't like to share my conversations with players, especially when they're somewhat pointed, if you know what I mean. I challenged him. Let's just leave it that way. Okay. I love Gavin, and he's a wonderful kid. He's the kind of young man that you hope your daughter brings home one day to meet. He's everything that that's good in humanity. Let's put it that way. He's just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person in every way, shape, and form, and very intelligent, works hard, loves the game. I think he used to have an issue where he tried to think too much instead of just letting his natural athletic ability take over. And I just kind of reminded him that day that not to think too much and to be a little bit more aggressive. And I think he took it to heart that next day.
Coach, I had one more for you. We had an LSU fan who was upset with the media that nobody asked you about Kay Doty getting that home run off a lighter. I know the score was kind of out of hand, but she wanted to point out how positive that was, that the guy hadn't given up a home run all year or whatever, and Kay was the one that and broke it up. And, we're able to shut.
Who was upset with you?
Just the fan wanted to, say, why didn't anyone ask Coach Mainieri about Doty's home run against Leiter the other night? The first one he gave up all year, right? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about it. Honestly, I think the score was 9-1 when it happened, wasn't it?
Well, that's kind of what I said. But anyway, I wanted to throw it.
You satisfied the fan now. You asked about it.
Are there any more questions?
I have just one more. Paul, I know you talked a good bit about kind of sort of where y'all go from here, but is there anything that y'all do as coaches when things kind of get down like this? Or do you try to watch more film, or do you sort of tweak something, or do you try to kind of more stay the course? What's your approach when the season's where it is right now at the halfway point and you've still got a lot of baseball left to play?
Well, Wilson, I think you made a very good point there. We're exactly at the halfway point. Well, there's only going to be a 55-game schedule by virtue of the cancellation with Tulane. So we have 27 games remaining. So that's kind of the message to the players today is, okay, we're at the midway point. Now let's see what we can do with the rest of the way. We've obviously dug ourselves a hole in the SEC, and it's a big hole, and there's no denying that. And we're not going to make up 10 games in one weekend or one day. So let's just take it one game at a time, and let's just see what we can do in the second half. Let's forget about what's happened in these first 3 weekends, and let's just, take it one day at a time this weekend against Kentucky, and let's experience some success, and let's move through the rest of the schedule and see how high we can finish. And, there's you're constantly thinking about your lineup and what gives you the best chance. We are going to have Giovanni back tomorrow night. And so we'll insert him into the starting lineup. Probably, make a couple little slight adjustments again with the lineup. I think we're going to probably pretty much focus on using Fontenot and Floyd at the end of the games. As I mentioned, we're going to look at Edwards more as at the beginning, and that's, we'll see about whether or not, where we'll use him. But I think, we'll once we get to the 6th inning on, if we have a chance to win, I think it'll be primarily Fontenot and Floyd at that point. And, I think a lot just, continuing to evaluate the personnel situation and just keep, focusing more on our personnel more than the other guys, and seeing what we can do to play the very, very best baseball that we can.
Is that all? Thank y'all so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all.